The Polish language is a river that has carved its path through the shifting landscapes of history, fed by the tributaries of conquest, migration, and cultural exchange. It is a language of resilience, shaped by the turmoil of nations, the ebb and flow of empires, the relentless will of a people who refused to let their voice be drowned in the silence of subjugation. Its complexity is not mere happenstance, nor is it an arbitrary web of rules. It is the accumulated weight of centuries, the living memory of a nation that has endured division and erasure, yet never ceased to exist. And within its syllables, its consonantal clusters, its diacritical marks that confound the foreign tongue, lies the very soul of Poland itself. To understand why Polish is perceived as difficult is to walk through the corridors of time, to trace the evolution of a language that has stood at the crossroads of civilizations. Its Slavic roots run deep, belonging to the Western Slavic branch alongside Czech and Slovak, yet it bears the scars and embellishments of Latin, German, French, Italian, and Russian, languages that, at different moments in history, sought to impose themselves upon Poland or found their way into its culture through trade, diplomacy, and war. The grammatical structures, the intricate system of cases, the distinct nasal vowels, once common across the Slavic world but now a rare relic in Polish, are vestiges of an ancient linguistic past that Poland has preserved while others have moved on. It is a language both stubborn and adaptive, never fully yielding to external pressures, yet absorbing what it must to survive. And surnames, those seemingly impenetrable strings of consonants, the dizzying combinations of suffixes and prefixes, tell the story of Poland's social evolution, of noble lineage, of peasantry bound to the land, of foreign influence interwoven with national identity. Polish surnames, often long and twisting, are the genealogical fingerprints of a history marked by feudal hierarchy, political upheaval, and cultural synthesis. The nobility, the szlachta, whose very existence was intertwined with the fate of the Commonwealth, often bore surnames ending in -ski or -siki, suffixes denoting land ownership, origins tied to a place, a manor, a domain. Names like Zamoyski, Czartoryski, Radziwiłł, each a whisper of a once mighty family, an echo of castles and battles, of diplomacy and rebellion. For those of humbler birth, surnames were more descriptive, often reflecting an ancestor's trade, appearance, or even a quirk of personality. A Kowalski was descended from a blacksmith, a Nowak was the newcomer in a village, a Mazur hailed from the Masovian region. Some names bore the weight of foreign tongues, Germanic influences in Silesia and Pomerania, Ruthenian and Lithuanian elements in the east, Jewish surnames carved from centuries of coexistence and persecution, as the partitions of Poland redrew the map but not the heart of its people. Polish surnames found themselves under siege, Russified in the east, Germanized in the west, stripped of their heritage in an effort to erase the identity they carried. Yet, they endured, passed down through generations, unyielding to the forces that sought to render Poland a mere memory. The difficulty of Polish names, much like the language itself, is not an accident of history, but its testament. To those unfamiliar, the letter U or U pronounced as W, the RZ that hums like ZH, the softened SHI, the sharpened ICHI, all seem a labyrinth, an impenetrable fortress of phonetics. But this complexity is the armor of a language that has resisted annihilation. It has survived partitions, occupations, the cruel decrees of empires that sought to erase it from existence. It endured in secret schools under Russian rule, in whispered prayers beneath Prussian censorship, in underground resistance against the Nazis, in defiance of communist repression. There was a time when speaking Polish in public could mean exile to Siberia, when printing in Polish was an act of rebellion, when even the names of cities and streets were forcibly changed to erase the memory of what was. Yet the language lived on. It lived in poetry, in Mickiewicz's verses that stirred the exiled heart, in Sienkiewicz's novels that reminded a partitioned people of their shared past, in Chopin's compositions that turned Polish rhythms into universal emotion. It lived in the resilience of those who, despite their nation being wiped from maps, still called themselves Poles, still taught their children to speak the language of their ancestors, still signed their names in defiance of those who sought to rewrite them. And so, Polish remains complex and beautiful, a language of resistance, of identity, of belonging. Its surnames, intricate and unbending, are more than just names. They are histories etched in letters, legacies preserved against time. To the untrained eye, they may seem impossible, but to those who understand, they are poetry, a lineage carried in every syllable, a story told in every sound. To struggle with Polish is to struggle with history itself, but to master it is to hold in one's tongue the echoes of kings and rebels, poets and warriors, exiles and homecomers. It is to speak with the voice of a nation that has never been silenced, no matter how many times the world tried. Dziękuję. Like and subscribe if you wish you knew Polish.